Hi everyone, welcome back to this series of Agile PMP questions, or questions for your Agile Certified Practitioner exam, or just general questions to check your Agile knowledge within your team. This is a great way to prepare and a great way to test your Agile knowledge. And we've got 10 questions for you today, so it's going to be absolutely a bunch of fun. Let's get into the questions. You have delivered half of the features in your backlog for your Agile project. Oh, this looks like a scenario-based question, which is exactly the type of style that you'll see on the exam. So this is really good. You've noticed that there's quite a difference in the number of defects over the last 3 iterations. Okay, so defects, and you ask the team to investigate both the common cause and the special cause variation. What will they investigate? So we've got defects coming out, and we want to investigate the variation basically between common cause and special cause. So you might see this come up from an Agile terminology point of view. It's actually a lean terminology as well. But let's see what we've got here. Issues that arose from normal operations and issues that arose from a unique or new condition. Now this one looks really good already, because common cause are our common operations, so our BAU, our normal operations. And special cause are things that are coming out of left field. So it's a special condition, it's a new condition. So that is exactly how this one is described. I think this is probably going to be our best bet, but let's see what else we've got. Issues caused by the common area and issues caused by the special software? No. Issues found in the last release and issues found in this release? No again. And issues caused by continuous integration and issues caused by no integration? And again, these things don't, to me, don't match up at all. So it's, as long as you know a little bit about variation in the common cause and special cause, then I think we'll be pretty safe here. Let's go with answer A. And there it is. Variation in lean, or the Toyota production system, is separated into common cause, which is normal operations, special cause, which is special or new factors. Well, that was a nice one to start with. All right, let's get into the next question and see how we go. You have built an experienced Agile team and have delivered constantly for your organization. The product owner who has been with you since the beginning has taken another job, and a new teammate joins the team, one with very little experience. Oh yes, and look, this will definitely happen to you in your career. People will come and go on your projects because projects themselves are temporary as well. And so you'll see new people come on, sometimes people who are not experienced enough. This is a really good question. So which of the below will you not tell them regarding the product owner role? And this is also important because as a project leader, you may need to guide people in their roles. And maybe sometimes, because egos are involved, you can't specifically tell them what to do, but you can guide them and help shape their role and nudge them in that direction as well, as a true servant leader. So, I mean, this is such a great question. Let's see what we've got here. Product owner role, what won't we tell them? Okay, the product owner represents the customer and generates, maintains, and prioritizes the backlog. Definitely this. And to ensure the highest business value without creating waste. Well, I mean, that sums up the product owner really well. And if only all product owners were like this, the world would probably be a happier place. We may even have world peace, who knows? But definitely that is a good one. The product owner must have previous experience in Agile to work in the team. Okay, so this one stands out for me already, because as we know, the product owner needs to be an expert in the business domain or the customer domain that they're working in or that we're delivering to, but they don't have to have previous experience in Agile. That can be coached and taught, and we can bring them into the team and the ceremonies for that to happen. So I like that one as the standout one here. Let's see what else we've got. The product owner may work with stakeholders, customers, and the teams to define the product direction and rank the work based on business value. Yes, 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 business value, prioritizing, all product owner things. Product owners typically have a business background and bring deep subject matter expertise to their decisions. Definitely yes for that one as well. Let's go with the incorrect answer being B. There it is. The product owner role represents the customer or the area gaining the benefit, so where we're delivering that value to. Because of this, they often have that deep expertise in that particular area. How did you go? Let's get into another question. The intent of Agile Unified Process is to perform more iterative cycles across 7 key disciplines and incorporate the associated feedback, before formal delivery. Okay, so I like this because it's an agile, it's an extra framework, an auxiliary framework. So you'll see lots of different frameworks. I think there are more than 40 different types of agile frameworks out there with different names and varying degrees of agileness. But one thing that they have all in common are the agile principles that you'll see, like iterations, delivering in increments of features of value, getting feedback from our customers directly, working with our customers directly, and servant leadership, and those sorts of things. So we can use that as a guide for what this question is going to be. Iterative cycles, I already like that. Getting feedback, as you can see, these are all agile principles. So this will carry across into our normal question. Which of the following is not a principle that guides AUP disciplines? So we don't have to know AUP specifically. Let's have a look. Tailoring the approach to fit. Okay, definitely a maybe for that one. And for your PMP, we want to tailor our approach all the time because every approach will not fit. So we might need a little bit of agile, we might need a little bit of waterfall, if depending on the risk factors or the changeability of the project itself. So very important, we will need to tailor in our project. Ensuring the team knows what it is doing. Yes, probably very important. Not really an agile process specifically, but give that a maybe as well. Collective agreement of scope before delivery. Oh gosh, these are actually pretty tough. And focus on high value activities. Okay, definitely that one. So I love that one, but we're looking for something that's not agile. Okay, or an agile unified process. Collective agreement of scope. That's the only one that really stands out for me because believe it or not, everyone doesn't have to agree, but we do have to basically talk about it and discuss it. And especially for scope, it's more up to the product owner role. So I think as long as we've got product owner arranging that scope, and this is before delivery, the team is there to deliver. Gosh, this is a tough one, but I'm probably going to say the standout is answer C here. Okay, good. So the principles of Agile Unified Process also match those of Agile in general. You may tailor your approach, absolutely, to fit the situation, using some or all of Agile methods. The team must know what it's doing, often with generalizing specialists. Okay, that does make sense. So generalizing specialist is our T-shaped person where we have a broad range of knowledge. Like a person has a broad range of knowledge, but one deep specialty. So they might be a developer, for example, but they might have a little bit of design. They might have a little bit of business analyst work or requirements gathering work as well. So they have a broad range at the same time. Such a powerful person to have in your team, whether it's agile or not. And of course, we're grooming the backlog and focusing on the activities that deliver the most value first. All right, that was a very tough one. I'm glad we did that. Let's check out the next question. The 12 clarifying principles in Agile were defined to give more clarity to the Agile Manifesto and core values. Which of the following is one of the 12 clarifying principles? I love these questions because this is the foundation of Agile. If you understand these, then you have, and exactly as we saw before, these clarifying principles feed into all of the auxiliary approaches, whether they're extra Agile approaches or the core Agile approaches like Scrum, Kanban, and extreme programming, for example. Let's see what we've got here. Which one is one of our core principles, 12 principles? Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer. I already like that because we're working with the customer. Through early and continuous delivery. I love that because we're delivering often. That's what we want. Of valuable software. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, Agile, it's expanded outside of software now because it's become so valuable. So it doesn't have to be just software. But I really like this one. Let's see what else we've got. The highest priority is to ensure executive buy-in by delivering high-value items. High-value items, yes. Executive buy-in is definitely important, but it's not part of the Agile Manifesto or the Agile clarifying principles. It's more about the team and conversations and collaboration with the team. Our highest priority is to reduce the impact of change by keeping information to a minimum. No, it's actually the opposite. We want lots of information, we want transparency, and we actually want to be okay with change and being able to change fast. So not that one either. And our high priority is to plan thoroughly and execute with discipline. Execute with discipline, yes, absolutely. But to plan thoroughly, while we do have a plan, yes, when we're planning thoroughly, that's more of a waterfall or a predictive life cycle approach. So I think the correct answer here is going to be A. Agile focuses on early and continuous delivery of value, most often in a software environment, but not always. Any knowledge work, it says, yes, and that's exactly it. So, it may not fit in an industrial environment necessarily, but anywhere the work is hidden from view, it's knowledge work. It's not necessarily in plain sight. Very useful to use Agile. That was a great question. Let's get into the next one. You are working with a new Agile team and have reviewed the team velocity over the past 3 iterations. The maximum number of points completed was 35 and the fewest was 25. What will you do next? Okay, so 35, 25. What is this going to ask? What will we do next? So push the team to complete 5 more than the maximum and roll over any incomplete cards to the next iteration. So, look, you will see this happen in your career, just so that you know. Basically, you will have a stakeholder or someone, usually someone not super familiar or not within the team itself, who will try and push the team to do more than the maximum amount that they have completed previously. But that goes against the Agile principle of continuous, like having a continuous pace of delivery, a sustainable pace. Because what happens when we push the team? They burn out and then people take sick days and it has the opposite effect. So it's actually bad, but most people don't realize this because it takes a while to happen. So this is so important. But anyway, all of that to say that's not the right answer for us at the moment. Set 35 as the work in progress, WIP limit, and adjust it during future iterations if the team is able to pull more work than assigned. Absolutely. So this one, we set the limit at the maximum that we have achieved. And so no more than that currently. We pull in the work for our iteration at 35, no more than 35. And then if the team gets through it all, then they can pull more work. So this is probably one of the better ways to do it. And it's accurate because it's based on previous iterations and what we have previously achieved. So really, really important. Add more people to the team to complete the work because 35 is not enough. We actually want small teams. So adding more people may not do it. Adding more people complicates the process. It makes more communication channels. It has more areas where things can go wrong. It has more areas of conflict. So that may not work necessarily. Sometimes that doesn't equate to more work being done, just adding more people. Reduce the number of features in the backlog to suit the team velocity. Not necessarily, again, we can prioritize the features in the backlog and have high priority first, but we don't necessarily need to reduce them. But in the sprint backlog, they do need to meet our maximum velocity, which is 35. So let's go with answer B. And there it is, answer B. Agile works on continuous, sustainable delivery, exactly as we said. Pushing the team beyond their known limits is not a part of Agile practice. Once the velocity is known, it's good practice to set a work in progress limit for future iterations so as not to overburden the team. And this is such an important concept, not overburdening the team, helping that engagement by not cracking the whip, but actually helping everyone achieve the things that we all want to achieve as a team and working together. It sounds like a utopia, and sometimes it can be when you get it right. And of course, there's going to be lots of curly situations in your actual career that will try and throw it off kilter. So that's good to know as well. All right, that was a fun one. Wow, I really loved that question. All right, let's get into the next one. You're the product owner in an Agile team and have a list of features in a backlog that need to be developed. Each feature is assigned a dollar value representing the return on investment. Now that is great. That's a good sign of a good product owner. You would like it to be risk adjusted, a backlog. So what will you do next? Note the risk impacts in dollars against the return in dollars, then reprioritize the backlog. Let's see what else we've got. Adjust the backlog to focus on the largest features first. Not necessarily. Capture known risks for each feature and then place cards to control those risks and prioritize in the backlog. That one's also a really, really good one. And that's actually exactly what we want to do as an Agile team. That's how we can prioritize, is by creating cards for the risks and then prioritizing those in the backlog. So that way we do become a risk adjusted. So there's two ways we can do this. So this is actually quite tricky, but in practice, probably what we're going to do is raise our risk cards and prioritize the risks closer to the start of our project so that we're getting rid of those risks straight away. And that's really, really important, because the longer a project goes on, the more those risks will cost us to fix, especially when they get to production. So, oh gosh, even though this could be the first one, could be answer C. And lastly, create a risk register for the project and have it signed off by the risk owners. That one's more of a waterfall approach, so it's definitely not that one. So in practice, let's raise a card and prioritize that against our other cards, and that's our risk card, and that way it's risk adjusted. Let's go with answer C. All right, this was quite tricky, so I really, really liked this, and there are definitely different ways to do this. So the risk adjusted backlog is in a sprint or release is containing risk response tasks for actionable risks. These will be prioritized against the normal features also in the backlog to adjust for risk. So now it becomes a risk adjusted backlog. Wow, I'm glad we did that one because that was quite tricky. Well done, guys. Let's see what we've got next. You're an Agile project manager analyzing the risk for each feature in your backlog by assigning a probability and an impact score to each risk. Oh, so we're getting into risk now in a big way. Then multiplying them to calculate risk severity. This is a traditional approach to risk, and it's a wonderful approach to risk. You'll see this in Agile as well, and you can, when we raise our risk cards, as we saw, you'll have a probability and an impact. Multiply those together. Maybe it's out of 5, and you say probability is 5, impact's 5. Now you have 25, and varying degrees of 25. So if it's 2 and 2, for example, you might have a card of 4 as an overall risk. So that's the way we like to do that. Quite an easy way to do it and manage your risks. How will the team handle items with the highest risk? Oh, and this is exactly as we said. We put those highest risk items to the front and do them as soon as we can, because it costs us way more to do as the project gets closer to completion. So is there anything like that in here? Here we go. Place all the high risk items. Oh no, not that one. Schedule them earlier in the project to reduce that risk impact over time. Love that one. We don't want a risk iteration. We don't necessarily just want one iteration doing risk cards. We want to be delivering value the whole time. That's still important. Schedule them later? Definitely not, because it's going to cost us more, as we said, and change the requirements to reduce or to remove the risk. Again, maybe not the best option, because we actually might want those requirements. They're still important to us. We need to manage the risk, not just remove those requirements. So let's go with answer C. Answer C. Risk is highest early in the project before items have been completed. By completing the high risk items first, you're significantly reducing those risks and the threat of unknowns later on in the project. What a great way to do it. All right, only a couple of questions to go. You're doing great. Let's get into the next one. The Scrum Master tells you that Agile builds problem solving into its process in a number of ways, using transparency tools, oh yes, and ceremonies. Which of the following is not something that's designed to reveal and solve problems? And this is part of the beauty of using Agile, is we're transparent, we reveal problems as soon as we can, we raise blockers. Instead of waiting 3 days for an email, we collaborate together and we talk closely as a team. Let's see what we've got. Retrospectives, love that. Writing user stories, possibly, yes. Let's see what else we've got. Iteration demonstrations and reviews, yes, because we're demonstrating the product and the customer might say, oh, now that I see it, that's actually not what I want. Oh no, but that's revealing a problem and that's good. So we want that. Raising blockers in the daily stand-up, absolutely, we love that one. Retrospectives, definitely that one as well, because we're actually asking what went wrong or, and what still puzzles me, and we're deliberately answering those questions as a team. So even though writing user stories, I will say this, when you're writing a user story, usually it's done with your business analyst or your product owner, and a developer. And so the product owner represents the business and the developer represents the solution. And so in getting together and writing those user stories, then that can actually reveal problems and sometimes before they occur. So I will just say that that's still useful. It still reveals problems, but maybe that's not our best answer here. Let's go with answer B. Okay. Retrospectives, sprint reviews, and daily stand-ups all serve to reveal and solve problems that arise during product delivery. Writing user stories is a useful task, but is not itself designed for revealing problems. So we're not specifically asking, what went wrong, how can we help, how can we remove blockers, but it is still a good practice and still useful for removing blockers and revealing problems. All right, great one. Okay, next 2 questions, last 2 questions. You've done amazing work. Let's keep going, you're nearly there. The whole team approach, and I love the whole team approach. I think when you get to know it, you will also love it because it brings everyone that we need for our project within the team so we can talk closely and have quick answers instead of having to go out to other departments and having to get their time and costing money and taking 2 weeks for them to get back to us. Really, really important. It's an important part of creating the right cross-functional team. The team facilitator is a key member within the whole team. What is not correct regarding the team facilitator role? And the team facilitator role is our Scrum Master or our Agile Coach or our Agile servant leader or our Agile Project Manager. Many different names, but the team facilitator, servant leader is that role. All right, so the team facilitator or servant leader can be called, here we go, exactly as we said, can be called Project Manager, Scrum Master, Project Lead, Team Coach, or Portfolio Manager. Well, there we go. We answered our own question there, so that's definitely correct. The team facilitator must have a degree in business. Incorrect. The team facilitator's role is to facilitate discussion and elicit all of those beautiful responses and collaboration within the team. So you don't actually need a degree to do that, surprisingly. And sometimes just self-learning can be enough there as well. All Agile teams need servant leadership on the team. Yes, absolutely. And every team member can actually demonstrate those values too. Team members should build up their own servant leadership skills of facilitation, coaching, and removing blockers. That is also true. So we don't want to leave this just to one person. We want everyone to be involved and to embody those servant leadership qualities. So our incorrect answer for this one is B. Answer B. The team facilitator role or Scrum Master, so it's exactly as we said, can also be performed by anyone in the team though, and that's really important to note. If there is no specific role for it. You don't need a degree, but you do need to remove blockers and facilitate problem solving, and that's so great. And we're on to the last question, which is also so great. Let's get into it. You're rearranging a current Agile team, and you know that Agile teams are cross-functional. What sort of team members will you select as you rearrange the team? Can you remember from what we've spoken about in our session today? Yes, you can. You already know it's a special kind of shape, and it looks like this. And let's see if there's any answers that match this. And it looks like there is. Generalizing specialists with one focused specialty, a T-shaped person, one deep specialty, and a wide range of experience in other skills. That's definitely our answer there. What else have we got? Team leaders with a specialty in leadership so everyone can lead. Not necessarily. We do want everyone to lead. Quality is everyone's responsibility, but that's not necessary. Risk specialists, yes, we might need them, but again, they're not. We don't want all of our team members to be risk specialists necessarily. And don't add team members. You should shrink the team. Yes, but also not always for that one. So yes, extreme programming says we should have shrinking teams because our teams are getting better over time, naturally. But look, in practice, that's very difficult. And and it may not always be correct. Anyway, let's go with answer A. An Agile team is made up of generalizing specialists or T-shaped people, exactly as we've said. And that's exactly it. And that's the last question. I hope you guys have had a great time. I've really enjoyed myself doing these Agile questions, and I truly believe that you can pass the exam and improve your Agile skills through doing these questions. I really do believe that you can do it. Keep going, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.